telling Vivek and his wonderful wife that we're here not only because of the pull of Goa as a location, but just because we were invited with so much love and so much warmth that it was not an option not to come. You know, we wanted to come here for him and to be here and to meet all of you. It's been an absolute delight, and thank you so much for your hospitality. Okay, so just straight off, let me tell you what the presentation is going to be about, because I think the title doesn't explain very well what the topic is. Basically, we are bringing out this online magazine called Papercuts. It's a literary magazine, and we are now taking that into print. Yeah. So we didn't have the money to take the magazine into print, so we started a crowdsourcing project online to raise funds for it. So this presentation will this presentation will take you through the process that we've been through, because a lot of people in the publishing and literary industry, they have these great ideas and they don't have the money to see them through, right? So hopefully this will give you some pointers which you can then go on to use for yourselves also. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with a basic statement of fact. The situation that is there right now. At this exact point in time, we have an online campaign going on to crowdfund resources for a magazine called Papercuts, and it's on the verge of success. Okay? It's still running. We're not there yet, but it's going to happen. So, what the question that basically raises is, how did we get here? And that is what I'm going to talk you through in this presentation. First, let me tell you a little bit about what crowdfunding is. Crowdfunding is this simple and brilliant idea. You need a certain amount of money, you don't have it yourself. So you get a lot of people to put in a little amount of money, you pool that money, and you use it, right? That is crowdfunding. The way that crowdfunding works nowadays is that you go on the internet to a crowdfunding platform. How many of you have heard of Kickstarter? Yeah? You heard of Kickstarter? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So you go on a crowdfunding platform like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, you set up a project and you tell people, this is my goal. I need to raise this much and this is my idea. Now if you like it, please help. Put some money in. Someone puts in $10, someone puts in $15. If you're very lucky, someone puts in $1,000. Yeah? And slowly but surely you make your way toward that goal, right? Now let me tell you a little about Papercuts. Papercuts is a totally not-for-profit and at this point not for revenue project. Yeah, our entire team works entirely for free. Totally crazy. I don't know why we do it. It's just totally a passion project, total labor of love. All our editors work for free, and we do collaborative editing with the writers to improve their work. So we're talking weeks and months of work that goes into bringing out each issue of Papercuts. Yeah? This is the magazine of the community that I represent, which is Desi Writers Lounge. We showcase new writers from the South Asian region. That's our passion and that is our goal. So, bringing these two things together, crowdfunding, Papercuts. Why would it work for a project like ours? Quite simply, you want to raise money. You go out and you start telling people, please give money, please give money, please give money. Not easy, yeah? At the most you raise a couple of $100, that's it. When you go on a website like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, you have a credible platform. People trust that platform. A formal project that you set up is more likely to convince people to give money to you than to actually go and request people individually for money. We needed that credibility, that authenticity, so we decided to go for crowdfunding for Papercuts. It would also allow us to reach out to a wider foreign audience. You want people in the US and the UK to give money, right? How would you do that? You set up a project, they come and see the project, you start getting the money. Now let's get started. These were the broad steps that we followed to go through the Indiegogo campaign. The first one, making a video. when you set up a crowdsourcing project, you want people to immediately be grabbed by what you've put up. You need some content up there that's interesting, that immediately makes a person attached to the concept of what you're doing. And in our case in particular, because we're so obsessed ourselves with our own magazine and the wonderfulness of this project, we wanted people to feel that. So we put time into making a video, which we're going to play for you now. Go ahead.
In 2005, 12 individuals met through writers' community on the social networking site Pocket. 1 year later, they founded Desi Writers Lounge, an online workshop and platform for emerging writers and poets from South Asia. Over the years, this literary enterprise, run entirely on a voluntary basis, has branched into several exciting initiatives. Online writing courses, a book club operating out of Karachi, Lahore and Islamabad, an annual short story competition with a 50,000 rupee prize, a presence at international literary festivals, and an online biannual magazine called Papercuts that gets submissions from writers across the globe.
Emerging is one of the best ambassadors of new writing from South Asia. We've gone from a magazine that nobody knew about to a magazine that actually has a regular readership in the South Asian region and in the South Asian diaspora. Over the last 3 years, we've interviewed a number of world-renowned authors, including Baxi Silva, Mohsin Hamid, Mohammad Hanif, Musharraf Ali Farooqi, Jeet Hill.
I think it's important to support Papercuts because it's a way for writers to showcase their work. Also, I've seen the way it's evolved over the last few years, and I think there has been acknowledgement of the fact that people do need to find home their work.
I had to learn a lot about a poet before I start editing a poem for Papercuts. I tried to initiate a dialogue and learn about the situation that sparked the poem, the inspiration behind the poem, and the perspective of the poet as we move forward in the editing process.
This process of collaborative editing is absolutely crucial to the spirit of our work, because for us it's never just about publishing. For us it's about helping writers to grow.
We have a great creative team that's working on editing, prose editing, general editing, and design work, which I'm really proud of having played an integral part of.
If this magazine goes into print, it's going to be one of the most beautiful literary magazines to come out of the entire region. And that is something worth aspiring for. We work very hard on creating a product that actually pulls new readers towards the work of new writers.
Some of us are students and some of us have families, and we all just sort of, pitch in and make sure the work gets done. And it would be great if we had more resources and if we could build on our existing bandwidth and bring Papercuts out into print.
Here we are, bringing out this beautiful magazine, which really deserves to go into print, which deserves to be seen by more people. And this magazine represents the best of South Asia. It really, I think, helps to tear down a lot of prejudices. It helps to create more cultural understanding. And this is something which everyone around the world needs to invest in wherever possible. Help the writers to come up, help the poets to come up, help them to tell their story.
It's about representing poetry and prose and art, and that is what we aim to do. And see.
There you go. Wasn't that so cool? We worked very hard on that video. Or like handheld camera. We'll need the lights off. The presentation is continuing. Yeah. So, yes, if possible, when you set up a crowdfunding project, please put in a bit of time, make a video. Don't you feel better about Papercuts already, having seen this? Yeah, you feel a little more attached, right? Yeah, that is what you want people to feel when they see your project. Next step, setting the target. Super important. It took us ages to try and figure out what should that final amount be that we want to raise. And eventually what we settled on was a target of $12,000. Yeah? You can see that? $12,000. For us, I don't know about you guys, for us that is a lot of money, right? That's 12 lakh rupees, more than 12 lakh rupees for us, yeah? And we didn't have that money. Now, you have to consider when setting the target, are you likely to reach it or not? Simple. Are you likely to reach it or not? If you put up something too ambitious, you will not reach the goal, and crowdfunding platform is going to cut money from your final earnings because as a punishment really for not reaching the goal. It has to be an achievable target, something that when people come to the project they should feel, yeah, I can help make this happen, right? So what we did was eventually we considered how much money do we need to bring out 2 issues of Papercuts, how much money do we need, hello, yeah, how much money do we need to give rewards to people for giving us money, for sending those rewards out, how much money do we need to pay the crowdfunding platform. All of that was put together and then the final goal was reached, which was 12K. At the time we started, we thought we most probably can't do it, but we're nearly there. Next step, deciding the perks. You have to give perks to people for giving money to you. I know it sounds really awful to do that. Why should you need to do it? But then why should they give you money? You have to give them something in return to show that you appreciate what they've put in. That's why the perk system. Now Omar is going to tell you, just go on to the next thing. Omar is going to tell you a little bit about how we decided the perks that we eventually put up there to give to people.
So what we did was, first of all, we looked at very different Kickstarter projects and Indiegogo projects that were already online, and to get an idea of what kind of perks and rewards they were giving their budget. See, the thing about this crowdfunding is, unlike your corporation where people buy stocks, then they get something in return as dividends or other rewards. That's not what we can promise them. What we try to do is have people donate a certain amount of money, so they have some incentive, they have some reward as an incentive. One of the things was that we could not offer like really huge incentives because we already, like she said, we're not for revenue profits, so or not for revenue projects. So one of the easiest things for us was to give people copies of Papercuts. But for that, we have to understand that people will be contributing from the US or the UK and all over the world. So to send them the books and the print copies is going to cost in shipping. So we have to figure that into our final amount, which we thought was going to be about 10% of the amount that we're going to raise is going to go into sending the incentives to people. So we had a big discussion about what to put in, and it took us, I think, a month to figure out all these perks.
It's insane setting up a crowdfunding project, but some of the perks that we offered were print copies of Papercuts, a hand-worked bookmark from Pakistan, personally signed copies of books by authors, and by the way, Goa figured into that. We thought we're going to the Goa festival, we'll meet authors there, we'll get them to sign the books. And then we'll send them out to people. Jerry, you were in our calculations as well. So signed copies of books, and then the big perks. For instance, if you give $2,000, then basically you get a special interview on the Desi Writers Lounge blog, which is read by a lot of people in the diaspora and in Pakistan and in parts of India as well, right? So instant fame. And then if you give $3,000, then we would run an interview with that person in Papercuts magazine itself, which usually features, really? 5 minutes? Oh my god, okay, let's move on. Okay, next step, choosing the crowdfunding platform. We went with Indiegogo because, next slide please. We went with Indiegogo because to set up a Kickstarter project, you have to be a US citizen. This is such a pain, I cannot even begin to tell you. You need someone in the US who is a citizen to like kind of coordinate with the IRS and then send the money to Pakistan or India, which just completely blows the whole situation out of control. So we went with Indiegogo because you can set up a project from anywhere in the world. Next. Final step, second last step, setting up the actual project. This is what the final project looked like. We had a very clear title, Papercuts magazine goes to print. Immediately place the thing in context for the person who's visiting. Next, amazing video, yeah. And then after that, a heart-rending write-up of why this project is so important and why people should support it. Bolster it with things like a good campaign team. If you don't put your names and pictures here, then you get these shadowy blue figures, which don't help people to associate with who you are and with your team. Pictures, names, who we are, what we're doing here. Final step. Hardest step. I have no brilliant insights to offer for this. You just need to beg people for money. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's difficult to go up to someone and ask them to give you money. It's difficult, but you have to do it. That's why you set up this project in the first place, right? Have those people lined up from before. Start talking to people in advance. We are going to set up this project. Can I put you down for a contribution? When the project goes up and it goes viral, then people start becoming interested in becoming a part of it. They want to be able to say later, oh yeah, you remember that campaign that ran? I also put some money in it. That's the psychology that you have to play on, basically, to make it happen. And that's what worked for us as well. Now I'll just take you through how the campaign progressed. At the end of week 1, after starting, we had $2,401. During this week, we had 2 shout-outs from 2 published authors that really helped to get it going. Next one. Week 2, $4,801. Week 3, $8,662. Why? You know Fatma Bhutto? Are you familiar with Fatma Bhutto? Yes? Fatma Bhutto RT'd our campaign, yeah, on Twitter. She actually tweeted about our campaign on Twitter, and we started getting this flood of people saying, we'll help you, we'll help you, we'll help you. Look, Fatma, we're going to help them, right? You need that. You need some well-known people to RT what you are doing. Next week, and this is now. Right now, where we are right now is end of week 4. In a 43-day campaign, we are now 12 days short of finishing, and we're at $10,492. We're very close to our goal. And at the end of it, that open door, I don't know what the final amount, I've got 1 minute to go, okay, thank you. The final amount, I don't know what it's going to be. Are we going to hit 12,000? Are we going to cross 12,000? I don't know. But usually in the last week or 2, you get a flood of contributions, and that's what we are banking on. We need another 10, maximum 15 people to put in a bit of money, and we are going to be there, which is why I said we're on the verge of success. Very quickly, what did we learn? Number 1, plan in advance. Don't set up the project and then say, now what do we do? It doesn't work. You need to know, what's your social media strategy going to be? Who are the people going to be who will be advocating for you on social media and other networks? Who are the people you will be going to get the money? All of this has to be there. Go ahead. Next one. Number 2, know your capacity. We had 13 people in our team. And at this point in time, whatever money we've raised has mostly been raised by about 5 people. That's pathetic, right? You would think $12,000, 13 people, not a problem. Everyone will bring in a little bit, ho jayega. No. People, some of them were unable to bring in money, and some of them brought in amazing amounts of money. So you should know how much you can put yourself out there before you get into this. Number 3, expect to be surprised. You know those favorite cousins of yours who you're so sure will give you the money? They will not. They will turn out to be unmentionable things, yes? Yes. And then when you go back to Pakistan, you will have another talk with them. And then there will be some people who you'll think didn't even have the money. And then one day they'll just send you $500. And then you will forever be indebted to them for the rest of your life. But that's fine because your magazine will come out in print. These are the things you need to keep in mind. Go ahead. You know what that is? That's the dummy copy of Papercuts, Volume 12. The moment we raised enough money to take the first issue into print, we started the print process. This is where the paper is being cut in the big machine before it goes in for binding. That's the dummy copy, and that's Osman, our creative lead, who's holding it. You guys are the first ones who are actually getting to see a little bit of what the cover looks like. And at the end of the day, this is what it is about. Look how he's holding that. Look at the expression on his face. You're raising the money, but you have to know why you're doing it. You're doing it because you love what you do, right? Go ahead. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's about this. You have to love what you do. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention.
And thank you so much for that extremely, what should I say, important lesson on how you do things. Our festival has a parallel kind of connection because we also are volunteers and non-profit, and it's done out of that same big